I was completely mind blown by this episode. I mean, I just don't get. I just don't understand that. Yeah, people have their opinions though, but I just don't get why people would not like this series. Because this with this episode, I'm like, this is I have no words to describe this episode. It was like just awesome beyond awesome. I would say 20 out of 10 though, but it's not a possibility. But with the twist ending, I was like so mind blown. I was like, so Kaiju number 8, episode 10. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. You know, easily the best episode. Everything was just, you know, from the production, from the soundtrack, and the voice actors, animation, everything was just, you know, it's like the chef's kiss, you know. Mwah. I mean, with with Hoshina, you know, still fighting the big red kaiju, even with transform into its Godzilla form, basically, you know, and his suit exceeding its limits, you know, trying just to cut and all that with speed. Even though in a flashback we see him, like, when he was much more younger, where his dad, you know, saying, you know, join this force, you know, has no use for blades, you know, you'd use guns instead, right? But shows that he's still capable of using blades, because when he was being we was getting to be recruited by the captain, you know, Mina, say, hey, I'm no good with blades, but you are. So you can take out the small ones. I got the bigger guns. I'll take out the big ones. Let's work together, right? So, despite him getting beat up because his suit exceeding his limits, in the command center is like, hey, you okay? And he's like, he just gets up with a smile, like, hey, I'm still alive. and then when Mina comes in with her big freaking cannon, you know, shooting at it and getting to well, Kafka, which he was getting ready to expose himself, right? He was going to go charging in and transform, right, until when the captain comes in with her big hulking cannon. And I was like, okay, so he's not going to, you know. And just by shooting it, you know, and all those other Wyvern kaijus, you know, self-destructing, like dive bombing, right? Until you know, and when okay, the core's on its back, so Hoshina will get the legs, you know, try to get down, right? You know, get a better target at it. And then Shinomiya coming in with her axe, you know, like, okay, Hoshina will cut through the skin. Hoshima will come in with her giant axe and get into the wound, get it to go down a bit. And then, when its core is exposed, Mina shoots it, blows it all to hell, right? And everyone is finally relieved, right? They all won, right? And then something else is gonna happen. The head is still talking. The big red's head is still talking. It's like, well, humans are basically, this is gonna be a draw. And they look up, and they see all, like, the Wyvern kaijus forming this big, huge ball, because since they can self-destruct, right? But combining all those together, it's gonna basically cause an explosion. Like, that's a range of a nuclear explosion. So they have no time. They have no time to evacuate, and guess what? Which I knew eventually it would happen, though, when Kafka would eventually expose himself to, yeah, hopefully maybe it was just Hoshina, you know, because, you know, the whole time he was being skeptical about him from before, right? But no, but he goes and transforms in front of everybody, in front of the whole third division, right? And it's, yeah, and of course I would not be surprised. Hoshina's reaction is like, oh, he was the one the whole time. I had my suspicions about him. I was liking him too, you know. I wouldn't be surprised about his reaction, right? But of course, with Mina, with her reactions, like, oh, he's the Kaiju number 8, and especially for, I suppose, because, you know, him trying to apologize in his mind, you know, to Shimomiya, you know, Krokuro, you know, so I gotta apologize, you know, for not keeping our secrets, you know. And he just transforms. He goes full beast mode, you know, just the full beast mode. Just basically has the on his legs, you know, basically just like like jets on his legs, you know, just jet launchers. Goes and just flies, goes Superman mode, just really just punching. Basically does like a Superman pose. Basically, just takes his one hand, just shoves that big nuclear weapon up into the atmosphere, well, as high as he could, right, until it goes off, and they create a shield just basically to save everybody. And after all that, all the squad comes in, and Mina comes in, says, you know, he calls him by his name, but he says, no, Kaiju number 8, I'm taking you into custody. So despite all that, though, you know, saving everybody, she's gonna, well, which is better, you know, having arrested and basically go on trial. Basically, it was much better because if it was Hoshina, because he was skeptical of him from the start, he would have been dead on the spot. But if Mina, because it was his childhood friend, you know, that chemistry they had from back then, prevented him. Which if it wasn't for that from Mina, he would have been dead on the spot too, right? But because it was his childhood, it was her childhood friend. She won't kill him. Instead of just having him arrested, you know, and basically put him on a trial, basically. So would have been better though, because if they weren't friends from back then, she would have killed him, you know, because we got part of his kaiju armor exposed, his human eye, right? He probably would have shot him right through there, and he would have been dead on the spot. So, but yeah, she goes and first and calling him as Kaiju number 8, and says you're under arrest. Basically, I'm taking you into custody. And because he knows that the jig is up, you know. And what could he do? I mean, it was either that have everyone die on his watch, you know, because all of his comrades were giving their lives, sacrificing themselves to help everyone. So now it was finally his time to help everybody, you know, save everybody. But at the end, it resulted in him just getting arrested. Said we all knew eventually it would happen, where he would eventually reveal himself to people, right? But at the same time, it was like I was so mind blown. How he just went out like that, you know. Yeah, maybe not just from Hoshina, because like I said, he was suspicious of him at first though, but now it's like, oh, now he was right the whole time. But in front of everybody, you know, with the rest of the 3rd Division squad, you know, and Mina, you know, and her reaction, but how he saved everybody. But maybe just him getting arrested is better than being shot dead on the spot, right? I mean, everything about this was so awesome, you know. It was beyond fire. It was just, like I said, it's 20 out of 10. This is easily the best episode I've watched. My mind was so blown by this whole episode, you know. I mean, Kaiju, yeah, but Train to the End of the World, which I'm looking forward to the finale, right? I will still say it's still the best one I've seen, because, like I said, from the first episode, how everything went from that story and the characters and the scenarios and the weird and craziness, you know, so it still does have a better edge, slightly above Kaiju number 8. But Kaiju number 8 is just, with this episode, it makes the show go neck and neck with it. But I'm still putting Train to the End of the World just slightly above Kaiju number 8. But with this episode, regardless, though, it was just awesome beyond awesome, you know. I was just so mind blown. I was like this. Just the whole thing when how Kafka just went out like that, you know, just, yeah, granted, you know, he went out not dying though, but it's just saving her by saying just now he revealed himself, and now he's gonna be arrested now. Yeah, of course they're not Of course, they're not going to trust him because just because he saved everybody, because now he's a kaiju, they see him as a kaiju, he's not going to be trusted. So that's why, instead of being shot dead, right, taken into custody, probably go on trial, probably. So, but yeah, but episode 10 of Kaiju number 8 was just beyond fire. My mind blowing. Everything about this episode was just perfect, you know. And I don't get about the hate. I don't get whoever doesn't like this show. I don't get it though. Probably from the people who read the manga, I think it's a letdown. I have no idea, but I just don't get any person who does not like this show. Yeah, it's your opinion though, but I just don't understand it. What was so wrong about this? Just after this episode, I don't get what's so wrong about why people don't like it. Oh well. But anyway, that's Kaiju number 8 to episode 10. Thanks for watching. Just thanks for stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you next time. Like I said, just awesome, perfect. Later.